I was provoked to bring Christy on the show because I saw a kind of wonderful tweet that she did, a kind of, I would call it a tit for tat, that was in response to something that the actor Macaulay Culkin, you remember him from Home Alone 2, he's now like 40 years old, so he's not quite the Macaulay Culkin cute kid that we all remember from those movies. But anyway, he's crusading out there, and Christy Swanson decided to give him a little dose of his own medicine. So welcome, Christy Swanson. Great to have you on the podcast. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, all of this got started, this little latest kerfuffle, when Macaulay Culkin joined in with a bunch of people who were all on social media calling for the public, you could call it erasure of Trump. Now, as you know, Trump has been banned pretty much across social media. He doesn't have a voice. So now they turn to sort of a movie history, because there's Trump. He has a little cameo role in Home Alone 2, I believe. And a bunch of people are like, let's take him out of that movie. So they're literally talking about going back and re-editing movies to take people out. Their hatred of Trump is to that level. Now, what took this all to another notch was when Macaulay Culkin himself basically tweeted something to the effect of, I'll be on board with this. And this seems to have kind of ticked you off a little bit. Did it?
I guess ticked me off. I don't know. It just, I don't think it's right to remove people from movies like that. So I was just making the point that, you know, because I did 2 cameos in 2 different John Hughes films, and you know, I was 15 at the time, and John was the kind of guy that, like, if he connected with you, he just liked you, you know what I mean? And he wanted to work with you more or have you do other things. And my experience with him was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I had a meeting with him. He hired me to do a role. He ended up having to shoot that role when they were filming in Chicago. He called me and he said, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is I shot your role because of location, but I wrote you a new role. That's the good news. And I said, okay. He goes, I'm sending it over. And it was the role of Simone in the classroom in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And while I was working that day, he said, what are you doing this weekend? And I said, nothing, you know. And he said, well, we are reshooting the end of Pretty in Pink. I didn't direct it, but I wrote it and producing it, and I would like you to be in the end of Pretty in Pink. So I learned from him that if he liked you, he just wanted to work with you and have you do cameos, and he took a lot of pride in that and fun in it. And so I feel, and you know, John's not here to speak for himself, unfortunately, but you know, how do we not know that he liked Trump and wanted him in the movie? He wrote that role in there for him, you know what I mean? So for the studio or SAG-AFTRA or anybody else to say pull him out, it doesn't
seem right to you.
No.
Yeah. So by SAG, of course, any sense. By SAG, of course, you're referring to the Screen Actors Guild. This idea that they would now come in and sort of re-edit the movie. Let's also remember that Trump in those days, before he was a Republican and before he was the president, was very much of a pop culture figure. I mean, who can deny it? He had admirers across the political spectrum. And so I think probably John Hughes thought it would be kind of funny and cool to have Trump in the movie. So it's almost as if the political climate is shifted, and now there is a hit on Trump. See, to me, it's beyond the issue of Trump, because the whole idea of going back into movie history and sort of taking people out who were in the movie seems to me to be very Orwellian. It seems to me almost to be Soviet-style editing of popular culture. It's one thing to say we won't put Trump in a new movie, but to take him out of a movie he's already in, kind of a classic movie, I mean, I find that a little bit horrific.
Yeah, I think it goes next level. I think that, you know, it's possible what this is really, really, truly about is let's ruin the brand. We want to ruin the Trump brand, and this is one way we can do that. Or another possibility could be with SAG-AFTRA. Maybe they're concerned that he's going to get into filmmaking, having a studio, you know, putting out content, TV series, newscasting, whatever. And this, if they can wipe him out of SAG, then maybe they won't have to honor any SAG contracts in the future in working with him as a producer. I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking way ahead. Maybe that's another reason behind all of this killing of his brand. You know what I mean?
Kристи, you're a girl who grew up in Orange County, in California. You made your way to Hollywood. You became a big star. Let me ask you this. What is the way, if there is a way, to fight this kind of intolerance in Hollywood? Is it merely for people of a different point of view to start making movies outside of Hollywood? Is there a way to persuade the intolerant people in Hollywood not to be that way? What do you think the solution is?
I don't know what the exact solution is. I just know for myself and my own life and how I've lived is I've been in the business 41 years, and I have never aired my politics on the set. I've never aired it on the red carpet while promoting a movie. There's no place and time for that, you know, in your own personal life. If you want to tweet or do an interview like you and I are doing right now, and you want to talk about politics, I think that that's perfectly acceptable. But to not work with someone just because you don't agree with them politically, I think is wrong. I personally have never, ever done that. I've never turned down a role because, oh, so-and-so is in that movie and I don't like how they do their politics, so I'm not going to do their film. I've just never behaved that way because I believe, you know, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I think that they're just playing with danger right now. At this point, it's just gone like next level. And if anything, it's making Hollywood, it's putting them in a really bad position, I think, with their audience. And it's affecting a lot of people. And I don't think it's going to end up well if they don't stop.
Kристи Swanson, you are a very nice person in a not so nice industry. Thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you.